The BTS concert at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, United States, turned into one of the most emotional moments ever felt by fans. Thousands of ARMYs filling the stadium did not only enjoy the spectacular performances from the BTS members, but also witnessed a side of Jimin that has rarely been seen on stage. That night felt so different. From the beginning of the concert, the atmosphere at MetLife Stadium was filled with cheers and an ocean of purple light from ARMY bombs that filled every corner of the arena. Jimin performed with full enthusiasm and gave his best performance in front of the fans who had been waiting for this moment for a long time. For Jimin, this concert held a very deep meaning. BTS's performance in New Jersey became one of the most memorable performances throughout their career journey. It is not surprising that Jimin's emotions slowly began to show toward the end of the event. Throughout the concert, fans kept chanting Jimin's name. ARMY's enthusiasm reached its peak when he showcased his stunning dancing skills. Every movement displayed managed to make the entire stadium roar, while fans never stopped giving their support. However, behind that extraordinary performance, Jimin seemed to be holding back immense feelings. He was seen standing still several times while gazing at the ocean of purple light stretching out before him. That moment seemed to be an opportunity for him to reflect on the long journey he had gone through with the BTS members and millions of fans around the world. Not long after, Jimin was seen bowing his head while holding back tears. The atmosphere that was initially filled with cheers slowly turned into silence. Many ARMYs also cried after realizing that the moment held a very big meaning for their idol. In the midst of Jimin's sobbing, Jungkook remained standing beside him. Without saying much, he slowly leaned his shoulder against Jimin as a form of support and comfort. That simple act actually became one of the most heart-touching moments for the fans. Not a few ARMYs admitted to being moved to tears seeing the closeness between the two. For the fans, that moment showed that the relationship among the BTS members is not just limited to co-workers, but also a family that always supports each other in any situation. The concert atmosphere then turned even more emotional. The cheers that previously sounded so lively changed into a collective sing-along that echoed throughout the stadium. Many fans raised their ARMY bombs higher while continuously giving encouragement to Jimin. Social media was immediately filled with various photos and videos capturing that moment. Thousands of fans shared their impressions and admitted they could not hold back their tears as they saw Jimin trying to calm himself down, while Jungkook continued to be by his side. Many fans mentioned that that night was not just an ordinary concert. For them, the event became a symbol of the long journey that BTS had passed together with ARMY for years. The moment even made some fans feel as though the concert in New Jersey had turned into a farewell full of memories. Although there was no official statement regarding the matter, the emotional atmosphere created made it difficult for many people to forget that historic night. Now, one big question still fills the minds of the fans. Were Jimin's tears that night merely an expression of gratitude for the support given by ARMY, or was it actually a sign that BTS is preparing something bigger in the future? In the middle of the increasingly emotional atmosphere, the fans' attention was actually focused on Jungkook. Ever since Jimin started to look like he was holding back tears, Jungkook did not move a single bit from his place. He continued to stand near Jimin as if he wanted to make sure that his best friend did not face that moment alone. Several times, Jungkook was seen smiling while gently patting Jimin's back. Even though the stage spotlights were still pointed at them, Jungkook tried to lighten the atmosphere by giving quiet support. That simple act immediately made thousands of fans cheer again to give encouragement to Jimin. Not only that, Jungkook also seemed to try to divert the audience's attention. He waved his hand toward various sides of the stadium and greeted the fans with his warm smile. Many ARMYs believed that this action was done so that Jimin would have time to control his emotions without feeling burdened by the camera spotlight. However, even though he tried to look calm, the expression on Jungkook's face did not escape the fans' attention. Several times he seemed to look over at Jimin with a face full of worry. His gaze seemed to show that he understood the feelings Jimin was experiencing that night. When Jimin tried to smile again, Jungkook immediately gave a small round of applause while nodding his head. That brief moment was immediately welcomed by long cheers from the fans filling MetLife Stadium. For ARMY, that act became proof that support does not always have to be shown through words. Not a few fans then remembered various old moments that showed the closeness between the two. For years, Jimin and Jungkook have indeed been known as figures who always support each other, both on stage and behind the scenes. Because of that, when Jungkook chose to remain by Jimin's side on that emotional night, many fans considered the act to be a very sincere form of care. In fact, some people said that the concert atmosphere that night felt like a story depicting a long journey, hard work, and friendship that had been built over many years. Until the concert ended, Jungkook was still continuously by Jimin's side. While the ocean of purple light filled the stadium, both of them stood side by side while gazing at the fans who kept chanting BTS's name with deep emotion. Many fans then tried to guess the reason behind Jimin's tears that night. Although no official explanation was delivered directly, most ARMYs believed that the emotional feeling felt by Jimin arose because of the huge support given by the fans throughout the concert. From the beginning of the show, shouts and singing from tens of thousands of fans kept echoing throughout MetLife Stadium. Every time Jimin stepped to the front of the stage, the fans' cheers sounded even louder. Not a few also raised banners and lit up ARMY bombs as a form of support for their idol. In the middle of such a lively atmosphere, Jimin was seen several times gazing at the ocean of purple light stretching in front of him. Many fans believed that the moment made him remember BTS's long journey since their early debut until finally being able to stand in one of the largest stadiums in the United States. Some ARMYs were also of the opinion that the atmosphere of the concert in New Jersey felt different from previous concerts. There was a warm feeling that was difficult to explain, but at the same time, there was also a sadness that slowly enveloped the entire stadium. In fact, several fans admitted they could feel a change in the atmosphere ever since Jimin went silent and looked toward the audience. Not only that, many people believed that Jimin was reminiscing about various memories created together with the BTS members. A long journey filled with challenges, hard work, and endless support from fans seemed to be the reason why that night felt so special for him. When Jimin tried to wipe his tears, the fans' cheers actually sounded even louder. Instead of letting him drown in sadness, ARMY tried to show that they would always be by his side, just as Jimin had always given them encouragement through his music and performances. As time went on, the atmosphere at MetLife Stadium turned increasingly emotional. The purple light from thousands of ARMY bombs filling every corner of the stadium looked glittering under the stage spotlights. The view created an atmosphere that was so warm yet touching for the BTS members standing in front of the fans. In the middle of that moment, the fans singing actually sounded even louder. Thousands of voices united to give encouragement to Jimin, who was still trying to calm himself down. Not a few fans also raised their hands into the air while waving their ARMY bombs as a form of support. Jimin was seen several times bowing his head while wiping away the tears that kept flowing down his face. Although trying to smile, the emotional expression was still clearly visible from the look in his eyes. Occasionally, he looked at the ocean of purple light stretching before him, as if he was storing every memory created on that night. On the other hand, Jungkook remained standing beside Jimin without leaving his spot. He occasionally patted Jimin's back gently while trying to provide support. For many fans, that simple act became one of the most touching moments throughout the concert. The fans' cheers filled the stadium once again. Some people shouted Jimin's name, while others continued to give support to Jungkook, who chose to stay by his friend's side. Quite a few also admitted to crying along because they were carried away by such an emotional atmosphere. That night, MetLife Stadium was no longer just a venue for a concert to take place. The stadium turned into a room full of memories that brought together millions of emotions at one time. Tears, smiles, songs, and purple light blended into one, creating a sight that will always be remembered by the fans. Many ARMYs believe that moment will become one of the most valuable memories in BTS's long journey. Until the stadium lights began to be turned off, the fans' cheers could still be heard, as if they did not want to let such a special night come to an end just like that.